What is going on, party people? Welcome back to PlayStation Generation episode 32. My name is Matt, and I'll be your host for today's events. I'm joined, as always, by the PlayStation Hokage himself, Mr. Rice. Boy, what's up, Rice?
What's up, everybody? Good to be here. I'm a little tired. Tile? See,
I'm
already.
I'm a little
tired and a little bit pooped out, but I am still so happy to be here. And I just want to have some fun with these guys today.
Yeah, I'm a little tired today too. It's definitely been a week, but I'm excited to be here with you, my dude. And of course, joining us as always, the love guru himself, Mr. Deniru Kun. What's up, Denny?
Hello. I'm good. I am not Tywood.
Tywood?
I don't know. I can't.
Why did you add a syllable?
I have no idea. Listen,
Tywood.
I took a nap. I'm here. I'm present. I'm ready for this.
Hell yeah, my dude.
Tywood.
Tywood.
Tiled. That's what I was trying to say.
I would. On this week's show, we're going to be talking about PlayStation First Party. There's rumors again of another showcase. There's things afoot. So we're going to take a little deep dive into to all the first parties, see what they're working on, what they could be working on, do some theorizing and some speculating. But we're also going to touch on some PlayStation Plus. We're going to touch on some Astrobot. We're going to touch about how we are all now Xboxes. So strap in and get ready and prepare thyselves for this week's show. I'm going to kick this off with Denny, my dude. Denny, what has been keeping you busy lately? What have you been playing?
Well, besides destroying noobs in Black Ops 6, no, I'm
your nice chill game, you said, right?
Yeah. It's been a stressful week. No, I'm still working through God of War Ragnarok, and
So good.
Maybe after we're done here, I might settle down and start a little bit of Dragon Quest.
Oh, I was actually thinking the same thing.
Dragon Quest? The new one.
Yeah.
The 3D, the Dragon Quest 3 HD, whatever.
Yes.
Dude, I've been eyeing it, and I'm really tempted, as if I don't have enough shit to play.
Right?
I'm really tempted to now play that one.
Let me give you some advice, as you would give to me.
You know what? Please do. Please
add to cart.
Done deal. I'm in.
That's it. That's all I'm gonna say.
Done. Wow, you had that case in the bag, bro.
I am easily influenced, and I have no ability to say no to things. So
yeah, I'm excited to try it out. I haven't played a Dragon Quest game in its entirety. The last one I remember playing just a little bit of was Dragon Quest 11.
Dude, Dragon Quest
or
11
8
slaps.
Was it 8? It was on the PS2.
Oh no, 11 is the most recent one.
No, okay, I haven't played that one. I think I played the one that was one on PS2. That had a demo for Final Fantasy 12. That's the one I bought and played for 5 minutes, but I really bought it for the demo of Final Fantasy 12.
Right.
Well, I'm excited. I'm curious to hear what you think, because I'm also eyeing it. I've heard it's fantastic. And again, in a year just chock full of incredible JRPGs, they just have to give us some more. You know what I mean?
Y'all.
Just non-stoppingtons. Well, how's the God of War progress going? Are you more satisfied with your PlayStation percentage of completion this week than you were previously?
No, because I'm only at 62. I feel like I moved 8%, and I played for another 7 straight hours on Sunday.
You do know that there's a sprint button, right?
Yeah. Hey, he goes fast. It's just
yo.
Sometimes, and this is just, I guess, a me thing. Sometimes I play the game not for the story, and when I get bored, I just like to be able to skip certain cutscenes. I'm I'll figure it out after.
Hold on, you're skipping cutscenes?
I can't.
Still not making progress?
I can't. There's no way to skip cutscenes. That's my complaint. You can't.
But you're only playing it for the first time. Why would you?
Because there's certain aspects I don't care about. I just want to get through the game.
So what I'm saying, or what I'm hearing, is that you appreciate God of War's gameplay.
I appreciate the story, but there are just some scenes where I'm you know what? I don't care. I'll just go back and read the little synopsis that they give you for the quest.
Oh, okay.
That's all I'm saying.
You're a heathen.
Okay. You are a heathen.
I mean, listen,
now, would you do that?
I will not skip a cutscene.
That's what I was going to say. Would you do that to Final Fantasy VII Rebirth?
No, but I will give you one small confession, and it's well known when I stream it.
Okay.
Sure.
Final Fantasy 14. I have yet to watch an entire cutscene, and I'm through the whole freaking all
No,
expansions.
but isn't that like one of the core parts of Final Fantasy 14? Everybody talks about how good the story is.
Don't get me wrong. I want to get through it, and I want to get to the end game, and I want to go through the raids, and I want to get do all that stuff. So like, I'll just sit there, and while I'm grinding, I will watch a synopsis on YouTube.
Oh, that's interesting.
Teach their own.
Yeah.
That's yeah.
But knowing that you can experience it later.
Exactly. Yeah. But it's funny because you can ask me like, hey, what's the story for Final Fantasy 14? I'll be like, Crystal's good?
Or are they?
Or not? I don't know.
Crystal's
depends
on
like
Crystal's back.
Right? Big monster smash shit.
Amazing hair.
Yeah.
Good hair. Good hair.
Yeah, really.
That haircut does wonders.
It does. Mm-hmm. It does. We're talking about Rice, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
I thought we were talking about Dragon's Dogma.
You always think we're talking about Dragon's Dogma. It doesn't. We could be talking about fucking Cooking Mama, and you're like, okay, but where does the slaying happen? Yeah. How do I climb?
You
this beast?
In Dragon's Dogma, the cooking aspect is way better.
They are actually filmed scenes and not graphics.
In Dragon's Dogma, you can cook your mama. Like you can just pick her up and just toss her in.
This game's a lie. Cooking Mama,
yes,
my ass.
And it's called Rotten Scrag.
Did you just go up with that off the top?
No, I wish. I mean, that would be brilliant.
He's waiting for a cooking segment and
Rotten Scrag. Yeah, that's what it's called when when you keep it for too long because you got to cook it before it spoils.
Mm-hmm. Interesting.
Mm-hmm. Rest, what have you been playing? Because I feel like it's Dragon's Dogma.
Not Dragon's Dogma 2.
Dragon's Dogma 1.
Oh, that has not been completed yet, but you're right. You're right. I need to. No, I don't need to.
No, you don't.
I have not been playing those games, but I'm thinking about them right now, clearly. I have been playing a ton of zombies in Call of Duty Black Ops, and I'm currently hooked on that. I mean, I think that like my guilty pleasure from my younger days is back. It feels that way.
Yeah.
So,
yep.
And as much as maybe this is a love-hate conversation, but like nostalgia does sell. And that experience for me was just like a big chunk of my life. So like, and now my sister's playing it. And it's funny because she used to try and play this when she was younger, and it wasn't her thing. She could not do first-person shooters. She was only playing like Zelda and certain platformers at the time. But now she has her own setup. She's playing games, and we're running zombies together, which is like hilariously cool.
That's what I was about to ask. Are you playing zombies like with a crew? Like, do you have like a group of friends that you're like, we're locked in? It's zombies night. Grab the Mountain Dew, grab the Cheetos.
Yeah, totally go back into that teenage gamer diet mode. And but like, now that I'm an adult and a parent, I'm also like, this is the only night I can do this, guys. Okay, so let's just make it good, all right? Let's make it to the highest level, please.
If anybody's late, we're leaving them behind.
I don't want to waste these Cheetos.
I have my finger chopsticks on and everything.
I stepped out of the house to go to the store and buy these. We better win.
Well, I'm glad you're enjoying it, my dude. I feel like this year, especially the last couple of months, has been a lot of like nostalgia resurgence between like Dragon Ball, between Sonic, between Black Ops. I feel like there's a lot that's like tugging on our specific heartstrings lately that is just making us connect to these things in a way that we haven't in a while. So I'm happy for you. I'm happy
Thanks,
for you,
bro.
Ross.
Thanks, man.
As for myself, I finished Silent Hill 2.
Nice.
It was utterly terrifying. So very, very scary. Even playing on my Steam Deck, I had to like psych myself up whenever I booted that thing back up because it is terrifying. It plays a lot like The Last of Us, which I think is part of the reason why like I clicked with it so immediately, in my opinion. And again, I'm sure it's part of it's based. The Last of Us is probably based slightly on Silent Hill 2. Like I'm sure there's a history there, but in its current iteration, it feels like what The Last of Us feels like in this day and age. Funny enough, Denny, as I just ragged on you for skipping cutscenes, I got an ending, and like I'm not really going to spoil anything here, but I got what is apparently a more difficult ending to get on my first run, because of choices that I didn't know that I was making. And I have a
Oh.
good friend of mine who's like he's already played it like twice through. He's a massive fan of the originals. I told him I got that ending. He's like, "What do you mean?" He's like, that's not usually the first ending that players get. And apparently one of the critical moments that there's a hallway that you're running through with a monologue going on towards like right before the final boss fight, and evidently one of the main like triggers is listening through that entire monologue. I just sprinted
Oh.
through the hallway because I was like, let's go. This place is dark and scary. So I ran through it, not listening to the entire monologue, and that probably catapulted me towards an ending that I felt satisfied with. Even though I had questions that I looked up after. I didn't listen to the entire thing, and I got an ending that apparently isn't a common way to end the first game because it doesn't leave you with a ton of closure.
Ah.
Okay.
But that's okay. I enjoyed it. I still love the game. Like again, like for my foray into survival horror over the last couple of years within Resident Evil, Alan Wake, and now Silent Hill.
Yeah.
Big enjoy. I might be locked in for whatever the next big silent survival horror game is around the horizon. We'll find out. I played a little indie game called Mind Cop. The reviews on the channel. I had zero hype for this game. I got reached out to by the PR company, and they're like, "Would you want to check this out?" And then I saw a trailer. I was like, you know what? It's like a murder mystery whodunit. It's like this grayscale noir aesthetic. The graphics look very cute.
Yeah.
And then I started playing it, and the stranglehold that this game had on me over the next 4 hours was immense. It basically works where like every action that you make, every conversation that you have, everything that you inspect costs time, and you only have 5 days to solve the murder. So
That's
like
cool.
looking at like a room, for example, normally when you're playing a game, and especially those type, you investigate everything, right?
Yeah.
If you do that, you're going to waste a lot of time because not everything matters. So it's like you're choosing who to talk to, who to investigate, because the game basically opens up and they're like, go figure it out. So like different houses that you enter like cost more time. And then there's like this puzzle mechanic where you like it's like a square where you dive into their minds and you can like see parts of like, you know, their memories. And it's like a cube that it's like a match 3 game where there's bullets coming from all sides. You have to try and like line them up in the right colors to basically like extend your time so you can complete the mind surf to get into the mind. And I'm not a puzzle guy, and I was able to beat a lot of them on my first try. It's really good. The graphics undersell the themes and the dark shit that happens in that game, and there's a lot of characters that you can make decisions about along the course of the game that aren't even related to the main story, but just this dark, weird shit happening in this town. It's really well written. I solved the mystery on my first playthrough with quite literally like 12 minutes left on the clock. I just happened to make the right decisions based off a hunch going into my final day that I was able to get to the end. But you could very easily, depending on like what you choose to prioritize and who you choose to prioritize, not do that. It's fantastic for a game that I knew nothing about until the PR company reached out. Shout out to them. Really grabbed me. It's on I think it's on PS5. It's on a whole bunch of platforms. If you're looking for like a short detective mystery whodunit, really good. It's really good with a really cool mechanic. You think it's cute,
right? It looks cute,
and then it's not, and then it's not. And the last thing I'm going to shout out is Lego Horizon Adventures. We have the review up on the channel. Court, Steve, and I sat down and broke it down in about half an hour. TLDR, it's okay. It's fine. The combat is fun and genuinely kind of captures that Horizon magic. But the level design is so boring. And like we talked about this a lot, like it does feel weird at points to have this very silly take on Horizon. I ended up liking it. But like I think it will be a turnoff for some people. But for me, my biggest issue was not even the difficulty, because you can ratchet up the difficulty on that game and it gets hard. Like this is probably one of the hardest,
very difficult.
One of the hardest Lego games. I just find the level design to be copy paste through each biome. Like the first area you go to is like a dense forest, and like you walk in and you have a conversation, and then you run, you platform a bit, you zip line down into a combat encounter, and then you run, jump, you zip line to the next combat encounter, you run, jump, you zip line to and very, very rarely, outside of like the tall neck sequences, which are awesome, does the game do anything more than that. And like when I think back to like the last Lego game that I probably played a lot of, which was Marvel Avengers, like
Right.
The raft had an area, the Baxter building had an area, and each level felt like a different thing. A lot of the levels for
Yeah.
me just kind of blend together, especially like once you finish the first biome, nothing Lego Horizon nothing Lego Horizon does afterwards, it will surprise you.
Yeah.
So I feel like being a Lego game, the creativity on the way that the levels flow just wasn't there, in my
I see.
opinion.
Yeah.
Because yeah, the combat's fantastic, the story's fun, but like it's just not that like for parents who are playing with young kids or for people playing with I played it the majority of it co-op with my partner, and even
Mhm.
she was kind of like, let's get to the next thing, because she even noticed, somebody who doesn't play a lot of video games and isn't a critic noticed the repetition and the similarity in what we were
Sure.
doing over and over and over again. So that's kind of my overall critique. Go check out the review. Court was warmer on it, Steve a little more
Awesome.
sour. But yeah, I have the review on But Why, though. I think I gave it like a 7.5, which I think is pretty much there. It's fine. It's
Yeah.
not a bad game. It's just fine.
Here's an experience.
Here's an experience. It's 6 hours. Hop in, rip through. Wait for sale if you need to, because there's so many other games to play.
So much.
So much. But that, without further ado, folks, let us mosey over into some news. Let's hit some news stories before we get to kind of our main topic here, because coming from the PlayStation blog, we have our PlayStation Plus game catalog for November coming to extra and premium. GTA 5 returns for what I think might be like the 5th time. Dying Light 2, Like a Dragon Ishin, MotoGP 24, The Sims 4 Island Living, Digimon Survive, Overcooked All You Can Eat Edition, Stick Fight the Game, Clash Artifacts of Chaos, Killer Frequency, Hungry Shark World, Chivalry 2, and hitting premium, we get Synapse on PSVR 2, Blood Omen Legacy of Kain, Blood Omen 2, Resistance 2, and that is our extra and premium. Danny, my dude, where are we at on November? How are you feeling about it?
It's better. It's a much better list than before. I think compared to October, I can't remember. There's a lot more games on here that I would want to play. Like I haven't played Dying Light 2, so I'd try that. I'd be excited to play Like a Dragon. I wouldn't mind revisiting Resistance. Because I don't think I finished the second one, and I don't think I've even touched the third one, but I remember playing the first one on my PS3. So yeah, like there's a lot of games on here, a lot more games than normal that I'd be interested in playing.
Hell yeah, Rice, my dude. Thoughts and feelings?
Yo, Dying Light is actually a game that I like really loved when I was playing it. Didn't really get to Dying Light 2 because I was just playing other things, so I'd be interested to try that and see if it kind of rings me back in. Other than that, like all of the other games kind of Digimon Survive.
Yeah.
Sorry.
And
That is a must for me.
I was going to shout that out.
Mhm.
For me, I think this is probably the best month in a while. GTA 5, I mean, it's a mainstay. People are going to play it. Dying Light 2 is solid. It's like one of those games you hop in. If it clicks, it
Yeah.
clicks. If it doesn't, it doesn't. Like a
Mhm.
Dragon Ishin, fantastic. For anybody who's been curious about this franchise, this is completely separated from anything else. They're samurai set back in the 1800s, in the Edo period. So it lifts a bunch of the characters and like recasts them as like these, samurais from history. It's really, really good. It's probably one of the best Yakuza / Like a Dragon games. Digimon Survive, though, was
Mm.
so criminally slept on. This was a game
Yes.
that I absolutely loved. I was locked in on this from the moment we saw it. It's like it's literally like half VN, half combat. It's dark and it's
Mm.
weird. Characters will die. The decisions you make do matter. Like
Oh, no.
this game will hit you in the heart if you
Yes.
let it. It's fantastic. Like I'm so happy this is here. I really hope more people check it out, because again, it's entirely separated from any Digimon canon. You have to you don't need to know anything going into this. The strategy gameplay is solid, but the story is fantastic, and it's weird and it's dark, and it's like for any like OG Digimon fans, like back when Digimon Adventure
Yes.
was again
Mhm,
kind of dark
mhm.
and kind of weird at times, even though it was a kids show. This is for the kids that grew up on Adventure, being
Right.
adults now.
For
Would
us.
not tell this to play with your kids.
Yeah.
Again, it gets weird, but it's fantastic.
Mhm.
Like, please go play
Try it, man.
Digimon Survive. Rice, I hope you play it. and I want to hear from you when you do, because it's just I have such a massive love for that game. It's so special.
Absolutely.
And Synapse, if you still have PSVR 2, one of the best PSVR 2 games. Full stop.
There you go.
Voiced by like David Hayter.
Sick.
It's this entire grayscale with pops of colors. You feel like a badass. You have like force mind powers and like gun abilities, and it's really badass. It's really, really good. I'm actually curious about Resistance. I've never played them.
Okay.
Okay.
So
yeah.
I feel like this is like a hole in my PlayStation history that needs to be addressed. But yeah, I think I might check them out. Overall, though, I think this is a pretty strong month.
Yeah.
And I hope people check out Digimon Survive, because it's just real good. It's just real good.
Absolutely.
Let's mosey on to our next story, because is there more Astrobot on the way? It sure seems like it, coming from Chris Scullion over at
Yes,
VGC.
sir.
It looks like Astrobot is getting even more DLC cameos. Updated credits suggest more cameo bots are coming to Astrobot in the future. The last of 5 free DLC speedrun stages has released today, but the game's credits were recently updated to include references to other characters who have yet to feature. Spoilers right now, in case you want to know nothing. Like there's nothing has shown up, but they may. Each of the DLC stages has added more cameo bots, but not every IP listed in the credits has featured in the game. We have credits for Rayman, Beyond Good and Evil, Assassin's Creed, Croc, Legend of the Gobbos, Tomba. So there's stuff here. I want to know, folks, the speedrun stages are over. It's done. There's still apparently, like, I think there was challenge levels still on the way. But like, what do you want? Do you want like a DLC? Do you just want more levels? Like, what do you want out of more Astrobot?
Yeah, I just have to say it does kind of feel like the gift that keeps on giving. Because you got the game. I completely enjoyed my experience, and like still just like doing more and more things on that. And then I at the rate that I'm playing this game, like with my son as well, which is also already an awesome experience, like I feel like there's just even more. And so I don't know if I have a specific like want or need. I'm just kind of like enjoying the ride.
Hell yeah.
Because Astrobot is just like so sick right now. And it's a cool time for like this character and this game and this franchise to be highlighted.
Is there like a dream cameo that you want? One that we don't know yet, but that you're like, give me this? Because there's a lot in there. So it's like, is there anybody that you're thinking about? And again, like, you can get weird with it. Like, is there something that you want? Like Naruto.
Weird like Panda or Kuma from Tekken.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, just like some of these like cute kind of filler / like fun nonsensical characters that they place in video games just because that exist in the world. Like we have our protags and even a couple villains in there, but yeah, I want more of those side characters.
Panda would be sick. Panda would be really, really cool. Danny, my dude, what about you? What do you want out of more Astrobot?
I just want more. Like I don't care. More, just in general. I don't think this is one of those games where you can be picky, because everything they've delivered has just been so spot on. So if you get more, like Ray said, it's the gift that keeps on giving, right? So it's just more as a gift, and yeah, just more.
Any weird cameos that you'd want in?
I mean, since we're talking about speedruns, would it be inappropriate to say we need a Sonic the Hedgehog cameo?
Hell yeah.
Hey,
that's my thought. I mean,
love that.
It's worked in other games. Why not here?
Gotta go fast, man. I'd be down. I think that'd be sick, especially because it's like we know Sega has played nice with them. So it's like give us Sonic. I think for me, I just want more out of this. I would happily pay for like another Galaxy if they hit us with another like another 4 or 5 levels, another boss, like another themed level. I would happily pay for it, because while I'm okay with like I think it's cool that they're giving us all these speed runs and the challenge levels for free. I would happily pay for like a DLC expansion of like another Galaxy or two in a heartbeat.
Yes.
on top of the fact that like I'm just in. I really want Spider-Man. I know this is probably like a rights thing. I know it's probably like a little more complicated than probably that's on. But like and especially if they gave me like a Spider-Man costume that I could run around and do levels in, I'd be locked in. Like forget it. Like done deal.
You'd think they could. I mean, Sony does have the movie rights, and Insomniac does have, like video game licensing for it. I'm sure they could work something out with Disney.
I would hope so. I would hope Marvel Games played nice and just let us do it. Because come on,
you're getting free exposure. Like, why not?
Yeah.
Sidebar. I'm currently reading Death of Spider-Man.
Nice.
Ooh. Yeah. I'm going crazy with the comics, Matt. And
if you want to get weirder with it, go to Spider-Man Reign next.
That is in my bookshelf right now.
Ooh, excellent. Let's keep this train rolling. Let's chug that caboose on over to its next station, because coming from PGC, coming from Jordan Midler, PS5 Pro price has quote unquote not had a negative impact on sale of the console. Sony president, hardcore users are the target of this hardware, Hiroki Totoki says.
There we go.
Speaking as part of Sony's recent financial reporting, Totoki said that hardcore users at the target market of this hardware. In terms of the pricing, many people made different comments on that. That's a nice way to say it. But pricing on PS5 Pro has not had a negative impact, I don't think. I think there was another story going on that basically confirmed that it has, in the same amount of time, it has either sold as much or outsold the PS4 Pro in that same length of time.
Yeah.
Yep.
So obviously this thing is selling well. Denny, I meant to ask because I saw it today. Do you still want, if I meant to message you and I got caught up with work, if I see a disc drive, am I pulling the trigger? Because there was some on Amazon today.
No, don't pull the trigger.
Okay.
It's fine.
Okay.
It's all good.
That's fine. I'll be disappointed in the corner over here. But yeah, I mean, are you guys surprised at all that this thing is evidently selling better than we expected, even if pre-orders aren't sold out?
Not at all.
No. Okay.
Not
why?
at all. Do you think, okay, I think maybe there's some merit to the idea that I grew up in a household that loved PlayStation experiences. Like I came from Nintendo previously, and then like my cousin who I was living with at the time got an Xbox. But PlayStation is what like brought us kind of together, and so we goated PlayStation in that way, and we felt that in our community as well. So people who owned PlayStation kind of had this like really, really close relationship with the console. And so I don't really know where I was going with that, but I just know that like when there are a lot of fanboys that
the people who are locked in are locked in.
Yeah,
they're gonna pay.
Whereas like let's say people who only owned one console was the Xbox, like perhaps don't really understand the same prestige or even care about it, right? Because Sony kind of preaches this exclusivity in their experiences.
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess that's my answer.
I think it's been a really interesting like ebb and flow with the PS5 Pro, because I feel like it was announced and everybody, including myself, was like, why? Like you didn't hit the mark on, you didn't hit the mark with its initial unveiling, and then the 30th anniversary stuff hit, and everybody's like, okay, we are so back.
Yeah.
And then it was impossible to get, and everybody's kind of like, all right, what the hell? And then I feel like when the review started to hit and the video started to hit and the people started digging into what this thing was, I think like a lot more people were like, yeah, okay, all right, okay.
Yeah.
Because like even on Reddit, people seem generally much more positive about it than they were at its unveiling. So, Denny, is it in the cards for you, or is this a possibility?
Yeah, yeah, it's a possibility. I mean, it's always a possibility. Yeah. It's funny because I've been having the devil and the angel on my shoulder kind of conversation where there's some days I wake up, I'm like, you know what, just screw it, pull the trigger, go get one, find it and buy it.
It's just Matt, right?
Yeah, I literally just moved Denny down because I feel like Rice would be the angel in this scenario.
This works,
like,
right? Yeah, I like money, and I'm just like,
nah,
yeah,
just go buy it, bro. You want a disc drive? I'll hook you up.
Yeah, exactly.
I'll find one for you. I'll find one for you.
I know. Jeez, stop being my gateway pusher here. And then Rice would be the guy like, no, wait, it's okay. You're happy with your PS5. You're still playing games. It's got a disk drive.
Yeah, I'm just like, you have food on the table? Okay,
Yeah.
you're good.
You forget how much lettuce costs? But no, like, you know what? Yes. Is it in the cards for me? Absolutely. Would I love to get one? 100%.
Truth.
You know, it's a fact. Like, you know what? I think just kind of everything that's coming out. I have two schools of thought of this is like why this thing is selling so well.
Mhm.
Because everyone who is a major enthusiast, an early adapter, whoever wants the latest and greatest, and you know is loyal to the PlayStation brand will buy it. It's no different than any other item when someone is loyal to that brand. You know, people who stick with like Porsches, they stick with Porsches. People who stick with Nike, they stick with Nike.
People who buy pugs buy pugs.
Exactly.
And to your point too, Matt, like a lot of the people that were like, I don't know about the PS5 Pro, but let me put it in my cart though.
Yeah.
Like it does feel a little bit like that. Maybe people were just kind of complaining for the discourse. I know some people were. They're like, yeah, of course, this is it. This is nothing. Whatever. I'm gonna buy it anyway.
Mm-hmm.
But
So there's a chunk. Yeah. Sorry.
to top on to kind of talk about that as well. I think, and this is just because I am a heavy browser in my spare time, I like to browse the various marketplaces that are available online, like Facebook and Craigslist and Kijiji. So
Yeah.
you know what's happening right now is you're going on there.
I don't know why heavy browser got to be so much.
It did. It got me too because it got me thinking about the game we played last week.
Oh my god, I have a story about that, but that's off the podcast. That is off the podcast.
Something about the term heavy browser that just makes me feel
No,
really weird.
That's what I do. Sometimes when I need to kill time, I don't doom scroll on TikTok. I'll go like, let's see what's going on Facebook Marketplace. Who's selling Nintendo
I need to
DS?
write this down to remember to call him the heavy browser next week.
Oh my god.
Secrets out. Denny's also just on Wikipedia for hours.
I am.
Then he's the type to donate.
No, I don't donate. But I do try to correct shit. Actually, I have a really funny story, and I have a friend who would corroborate that.
I'm sorry, I completely derailed you. Please
No,
go
that's
on.
okay.
No, that was hilarious.
But yeah, like people are on Facebook Marketplace and stuff, and they're reselling their PS5 Pros, and they're reselling their disk drives for like $200.
Yes, the
Right.
scalpers.
So is it selling? Absolutely. Is it selling through enthusiasts? Absolutely. Is it selling also to the scum of the earth who are trying to make a quick buck on a hot item? Yeah,
of course.
But
Yes,
it's funny because there's those stories going around that scalpers are just having to sell at a loss because like product is still in stores.
Yeah.
So it's like
correct.
get bent, scalpers.
But it's like also like I have another tab open. I am on Facebook Marketplace right now, and like
Browsing so heavy.
oh
Heavy-
god, the
heavy
weightlifting.
browsing.
This month I have a real heavy browse.
I do.
Just for your safety next time, just say, like if you say incognito, maybe that might insinuate other things.
But okay, cool, will do.
So you're
But
saying
yeah,
that was a bone. Never mind. That's on the internet.
Yep.
Mhm.
Nothing leaves the internet.
Nope.
But yeah, that's my
Um,
thing. A lot of scalpers, probably.
yeah.
And selling at a loss, but you know how it is when basically everybody when it like they did the same thing when the initial PS5 came out, right? Like people were just tracking online marketplaces or tracking online stores and just pulling the trigger really quickly and then buying a bunch and then selling them. And
Mhm.
if they're making $50, they're making $50.
Yeah. Fuck them.
Yeah.
Forget. I hate scalpers. They suck. But
But
yeah. We'll keep an eye on the all things PS5 Pro. I'm still having a blast with mine. I've been playing Dragon Age, which I forgot to talk about, and it looks beautiful, but it's still a good game. Good game. It's very beautiful. Let's keep this train a rolling to our next piece of news. Let's go to this one, and then let's roll into the main topic. Xbox isn't ruling out any game for PS5 or Switch, Spencer reiterates. This is coming from Andy Robinson. There are quote-unquote no red lines on which Xbox game could come to rival platforms. Microsoft's gaming CEO has reiterated that it won't rule out any first-party games, Xbox games potentially coming to rival platforms, such as PlayStation and Nintendo in the future. Xbox first announced in February plans to bring a wave of games to PlayStation and Nintendo Switch, and what to be a significant change of strategy, starting with Pentiment, Hi-Fi Rush, Sea of Thieves, and Grounded. Later, it announced that Doom the Dark Ages, which is coming out in the future, is coming, and that PS5 version of Indiana Jones is also on the way. Spencer dated a interview with Bloomberg that basically went to say, there is nothing that is off the table. Anything could go. I just wanted to talk about this because I find it interesting, like the Xbox's kind of arc, and especially for folks who are criminally online, who some would say browse heavy. There was the Xbox campaign that started today. That was like everything's an Xbox, right? That's their new shtick. It's that like your phone's an Xbox because it can access Game Pass. The Fire Stick's like their whole thing now is that everything's an Xbox. Their PlayStation is an Xbox. Your fridge is an Xbox. We are all Xboxes. But it's just an interesting shift because I remember that like State of the Union that they had on the Xbox podcast where they're like, it's just these 4 guys. Don't worry about it. Nothing else is happening. And now literally 8 months later, they're eating their words because now it seems like nothing is off the table. And I know we've talked about this before, but like, you know, we were still kind of in murky waters, but I just find it really interesting that like in the next couple of years on the Switch 2 and on your PS5, you might be playing Halo. Like it's just wild that like this is like, I feel like truly the end of Xbox as a console manufacturer, because I feel like in our adult lives and everything leading up to this, it was PlayStation, Xbox, and Nintendo. You know, those were the 3, and Xbox gained more significance and then fell back over the course of the last decade or so. But like to think that like, yes, Xbox is still there, Xbox is still going to put out fantastic games, people who own an Xbox are still going to continue to have fantastic experiences, but they're closer to like an EA now or a Steam than they are the PlayStation or Nintendo's anymore. So I just wanted to open up this conversation because I find it very interesting, because this is the first major shift. We've seen players try to come, Netflix tried to enter and then got smacked back. Google tried to, they got smacked back. Amazon has Luna, which nobody talks about. It's interesting that like this is the first one that like this. I feel like this is the first domino to fall. I just wanted to open it up because I don't really have a specific talking point. I'm just curious as to where you're at on all this. Danny, let's go to you.
You got something?
Yeah, I got some. We've actually kind of been through this before. Maybe at the beginning of the 2000s with Sega.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
The Dreamcast didn't do well, and they kind of just went into third-party software development. I know this isn't the exact same, but it is similar.
I do think it is though, because it was just a different era. I feel like for all the people that grew up on your NES, SNESs, your N64s, your PlayStations, I feel like that era, this probably does feel pretty similar to what we're going through now. We just came into gaming at a time where Sega was already dead, or if not on its last breath, when we kind of really entered the foray. You know what I mean? So I don't think you're wrong. I think you're spot on with the comparison.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like it's weird because, again, we've said this so many times, like each one of these console manufacturers have really gone a different way now. That it's hard to compare them almost to like an apples to apples comparison, because it's no longer who sells the most units, because all the consoles are very similarly spec'd. They're all getting the same kind of third party support. It's just the exclusives that make them different. So it's tough. I think it's a little sad, because, you know, I am a firm believer in competition, because I believe competition, you know, brings innovation, and innovation is obviously something very key in any industry. So to me, it's, as much as I'm not a big Xbox fanboy, I'm not going to sit here and like, you know, Halo's the best game ever. It's sad. And, you know, it's kind of like, it's weird to see. I don't know. Maybe I've lost my talking point now thinking about this. Yeah, like, there you go. Thanks, Rice. But yeah, no, it's just, it's weird. It's sad. I think it'll be a little bizarre if I ever sat there and booted up my PS5 to play like Gears of War. To me, that just seems odd. I don't know.
It's like a cognitive dissonance to it.
Exactly. Yeah.
Interesting.
Right? What are you thinking?
Listen, I think that there are a lot of us that understand that this was the trajectory of not necessarily Xbox, but just games in general, and the movement from physical to digital. I think that those are large aspects of why this is happening, but also just the vision and the marketing of Xbox, and you know, gaming is everyone, and there's, you know, there are these positive kind of ideas behind those things. But I do agree with Denny in that, for those consumers who put hours and money into this franchise, and were kind of they were prideful of the exclusive experiences. They kind of lose out on that. But I think ultimately that's okay. You know, I 100% will be playing Halo on a Switch. You know, like it's just it's just more options for people, and that conversation of like, man, like if I get a game, I want to get it on my preferred console
Mhm.
and then just play with friends on whatever console they're playing. So it does speak to those conversations for me.
I do love the idea that like you should be able to play the games that you want with anyone you want, regardless of
Sure.
platform where you want to play it. Because like you mentioned, we've seen the kind of split, right? Nintendo has gone, and Nintendo since almost
Mhm.
their video game inception has done their handheld line and their console line. They've now tech has come
Yeah.
to the point where they're able to merge that. They still have their Nintendo's exclusives. Those aren't going anywhere, but they
Yeah.
fill a different niche in the kind of landscape. PlayStation and Xbox were kind of the two, the ones that were kind of biting back and forth and fighting back and forth
Yeah.
with their exclusives and what the box did. And what I'm curious about is when we do hit the next life cycle, when the PlayStation 6 rolls around, and with like the Switch 2 being imminent, is the next Xbox even going to be a significant part of the conversation? Like when the PS6 hits, will Xbox still be doing this delayed release like they're doing with Indiana Jones, right? Or is it going to be at the point
Mm.
in 2028, for example, when the PS6 theoretically comes out? Will the new Halo launch day and date across both, with the added asterisk being that yeah, you get it on Game Pass if you have Game Pass, which again you might be able to access from that, let alone anywhere. Is the next Xbox like the physical thing that they're going to make next time around? Because I think there will be at least one more. Is it even really going to matter? You know what I
Oh,
mean? Like, is this
Mhm.
going to just be a conversation of now when is the next PlayStation and when is the next Nintendo? Because those are the only physical boxes that are really going to matter anymore.
yep.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I
I
see
go ahead.
only Xbox enthusiasts, just like this PS5 Pro, 30th anniversary conversation. You would have to be an enthusiast in order to be getting the next Xbox. Considering like there is no kind of exclusive experience that incentivizes people to do so.
Mhm. And like I'm curious, like if it like are they going to release? I mean, Phil Spencer was talking about the handheld. Are they going to release a like a Fire Stick equivalent, but it's Xbox? You
Yeah.
plug it in and you have access to internet's only getting better. So it's like I wonder if like even the Xbox enthusiasts, how much of them are going to be like, okay, I'm buying a new thing now. All
Yeah.
the games that I like exist on this other platform. A lot of my friends have moved over to this platform. I can still play all the games I wanted to on this other platform
Mhm.
and play more. You know what I mean? Like I'm
Right.
just curious as to how things will shift and continue to shift over the course of the next little while. Um,
Yeah. It's
go,
interesting. I did come across an ad as well as a headline that says that Xbox confirms that it's working on a handheld,
that's what I'm saying, right?
right? And so you know, how is that going to incentivize? What is different about this, etc.?
And it's also my question that like even them entering the handheld space, if you don't have the exclusive titles as a benchmark as to why people should
Hmm.
buy it, you're entering a space now with the Steam Deck, with the ROG Ally, with the
Yeah.
Lenovo Go, with the Switch 2. Like handheld has become a much different place since the launch of the Switch.
Yeah.
And entering as an Xbox to be like it is now a cloud streaming platform when Xbox cloud streaming already works on every other major handheld platform
Yep.
barring the Switch. So it's like I just find it fascinating the kind of point that we've gotten to with Xbox, because it's like I agree with Denny entirely. A healthy Xbox only made the industry better. We
Yeah.
wouldn't have
That's true.
PlayStation Plus in its current iteration without Game Pass. We wouldn't have had the PlayStation be what it was if the
True.
360 hadn't put the PS3 in the dirt for the first little while of its
Ooh,
lifespan.
yep.
So it's like
Exactly.
these things need to exist and coexist and push and pull at each other. And like as
Right.
much as we are Sony ponies, we have a PlayStation podcast. The PlayStation is our preferred place to play.
Mhm.
I am a little worried about them having no real competition and left unchecked to do whatever they want.
Sure.
So I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. Let's hop into some PlayStation first party stuff, because I don't know if you guys saw it. There was an ad that was circulating the web from PlayStation proper that was like a celebration of PlayStation, talking about all these things. And there was a moment in the trailer where it said December 3rd, 2024 on like this like train arrival schedule. And people were like, is that a new showcase? Is that a new state of play? Are they teasing something? PlayStation took that ad back down. So it's like,
Yeah.
did they put it up too early? Is it something? Is it celebrating something else entirely? You know, Jeff Grubb is like, there's no showcase. Other people are like, there might be something. So it's like, Lord knows what's going on. But to kind of jump off of that as an introductory point, I'm going to pull up a list here from Games Radar of all of the Sony first party stuff. And I want to talk about if there is a showcase, if there is the next state of play, what does PlayStation have in the barrel? Because they've gone on to say they're going to have first party launches every year moving forward after a couple of years of hit or miss. So let's start with Bend. We know Bend, the last thing that they did was Days Gone back in 2019. We know they're working on something. They're doing something AAA. We don't know what it is, but this to me feels like kind of one of the most imminent titles given how long it's been since Days Gone, and like they've been kind of active online and stuff. So like,
Yeah.
what are you expecting out of what Ben does next? Like, do you have any thoughts and feelings? Because like Days Gone, we all know not a lot of people enjoyed.
Yeah, that's really, that was the sentiment I was thinking of while I laughed there, because I wasn't gripped by Days Gone, and I went back to it multiple times. Really, I tried, you guys, for those of you who loved it.
Same.
And, you know, like I wanted to give it some flowers,
Mhm.
and I couldn't. And I was saying this to someone the other day. It's like, I'm actually enamored by a lot of things. Like the bar for me is quite low. I'm amused at playing like pretty much trash. So the fact that I'm like saying that Days Gone didn't hit for me is like kind of shocking to me. So it didn't hit in the way that it could have. So I'm not expecting anything, which is, you know, that could be a good thing.
Mhm.
You know, I that could be a good thing, that, you know, maybe that was an odd experience, and they could be a phoenix in this, you know, situation.
Yeah, like could they have their Horizon moment, right? Like what
Sure.
Horizon did for Guerrilla as a studio really kind of revitalized them. So it's like, could whatever's next be that like, this is Ben's time now. Ben's here to play.
Yeah.
I don't know. Denny, any thoughts and feelings on Ben? Where are you at on him?
I would like to see them bring back Siphon Filter.
Yeah.
I think it's been what, 17 years since the last Siphon Filter.
Yeah, we're old.
We're old. And I mean, I remember, I think I still have a copy of Siphon Filter sitting on my shelf. But they need to bring that back, because like for a long time, PlayStation and Metal Gear were like chocolate and peanut butter. And well, no, now they've added, like, now it's not the case. So I think bring back Siphon Filter, do something a little different with it. I think that would be really cool. I'd love to see that.
I think
Did
especially
you play
because
the originals?
Sorry?
I'm sorry, Matt.
No, go ahead.
Did you play the originals?
Yes.
All of them? Oh man.
I haven't. So that's what my question was going to be. Is this like, could this be like a new Splinter Cell-esque experience? Because I feel like there's a massive want for that. I feel like that's an area, a type of game that hasn't been made as much lately.
Yeah, these were your stealth third person shooters, kind of like Splinter Cell, kind of like
Also like
Buggy.
007, because you're using gadgets, you're using like cool secret agent stuff.
Yeah.
So it was kind of like that experience for its time, and a lot of people really loved the franchise.
Yep.
Especially Game Shark.
Games, that's a way back playback right there.
Damn.
Game Shark. Yeah, I'm kind of curious, but I think they're pretty imminent. I think they're soon. I think this is one of the games that they're probably going to start talking about soon, just
Right.
given how long it's been since Days Gone. Blue Point, last thing that they did was the Demon's Soul remake in 2020. They were acquired in 2021. We know they're working on a new IP. We don't know what it is. We know it's not a remake. As good as Blue Point is as taking an established property and making it new again, they are in the foray for the first time on their own. So I feel like we don't. I don't know. I'm curious to see what they can do by themselves. For me personally, because they don't have a blueprint that they're working off of theoretically.
Oh, Blue Point, not Blueprint Games. Right?
Oh my God, how did I miss that? I was reading. I'm sorry. That deserved a better laugh. I'm sorry, Matt. Can you do it again?
I don't remember exactly what I said. It's too late.
Damn it.
But yeah, no, I'm kind of curious. Like I have really similarly no expectations. Shadow of the Colossus remake and Demon's Souls remake, both technical, incredible pieces of
Sure.
of bringing things back. But I don't really know what they're doing on their own, like by themselves. I'm curious to find out.
Mm-hmm.
Let's keep it running over to Bungie. We know what they're doing. Marathon is supposed to be next year. The next couple iterations of Destiny are around the corner.
I don't know what they're doing. Do they know what they're doing?
Are you expecting anything else out of them outside of more Destiny 2 and Marathon?
No, my sentiment was actually kind of a jab. I don't know. As someone who has followed Bungie for a long time, it's a little weird. It's a weird time. So yeah, I'm not expecting anything, but woohoo.
Fire Sprite. Yeah, they dropped Prize Call the Mountain with the PSVR 2. I don't think we're seeing anything from them anytime soon. Fire Walk. Again, like I feel like it's too new. Fire Walk, that's not Concord.
Yeah, it is.
Fire Sprite?
No, Firewalk is
so Firewalk was Concord. Okay, never mind. Rest in peace.
Was past tense. Oops.
Rest in peace. Guerrilla Games. Guys, that Horizon MMO has to be next year, right?
That would pique my interest for sure.
Would it? Okay, well, what would a Horizon MMO need to do to grab you?
You know what, dude? It doesn't need much because I'm like, well, I was on Destiny 2.
Yeah,
I committed. I'm actually looking for a game, an MMO game right now to commit to. I don't know. As you know,
right.
as someone with a brain like mine, I hyper fixate on a game. If it like really hooks me in, I'm in. I'm spending hours. I'm reading lore. I'm doing all those things. So I'm looking for something to do that. And I think, there's enough prestige from Horizon in my brain that I would really, really enjoy that.
Let me ask you this. Do you not think it would end up probably being, we don't know much about this. We know it exists to some capacity. There's been like leaked pieces of key art and a bit of gameplay. Would this probably not just be Monster Hunter / the big fights of Dragon's Dogma with multiplayer? Like, isn't that kind of
right?
Which is kind of your area.
I think that they would, yeah. So the answer to your question is that I think that they would have to do something mechanically and something that's new and interesting, but also familiar. That's such a tall order, I realize. But that's the experience that I would need, right? For Destiny, particularly, I loved cooperative stuff, like and Monster Hunter, like you say, cooperative as well. So I'm drawn to those experiences, but how can interactions between players be more interesting? Do we have specific roles in certain fights? And are we locked to certain ways of approaching combat or the style? So like, give me mechanics. Give me something that I can practice and hone in on.
Denny, what about you? Would what would Horizon and its MMO form need to do to grab you?
I don't know.
Could it do anything to grab you?
Not. I have my MMO. I'm happy with it.
You know what I would want out of a Horizon MMO? Give me like the Hunger Games type thing with like giant robot dinosaurs. Let me like team up with other players. Like I want PvP in this. But like, you know what I mean? Like I want to go up against other players. Like I don't want a battle royale, but I don't want not a battle royale. I want
Right.
like, you know, something between the worlds of an MMO, battle royale, Monster Hunter type thing. I think there's an interesting niche that a Horizon MMO could fill there.
Sure.
I hope they can land it. Is my thing.
Right. Like you could kind of go between different factions that you have met in the narrative, and
There you go.
create teams, and it could be fun.
Could be.
Could
It
be
really could
interesting.
be. I think that this is again probably pretty soon. If it doesn't come out next year, we'll probably start talking about it next year.
Sure.
I'd imagine that's probably in the next couple of years. Haven, this is Jade Raymond's studio. This was Fair Games. Correct me if I'm wrong. This got unveiled.
Yeah.
And it's another like online competitive heist shooter thing. I don't know. I'm just checking right now. We don't. Yeah, this was part of the showcase last year. What was this in 2023 that this was unveiled and we still don't have? Okay, well,
Oof.
again, that must be relatively imminent. Then I would imagine that's probably next year if they unveiled it last year and we still haven't seen more of it.
Interesting.
But again, like after Concord, I think there's going to be a lot riding on what Haven's doing here.
Yeah.
So I'm curious to see it, what this is going to be as we kind of dive into it, or if Concord's reception has made them a little more gun shy and on what they're working on. Because from what I remember, Fair Games didn't look inherently original. Like I just remember it looking like a shooter.
Right.
Housemark came out with Returnal last. Fantastic. Returnal absolutely rocks. Slaps hard. 2021. You'd have to imagine that they're probably pretty soon too. Right? Like 2026-ish, I would guess.
Yeah, man. I think it's about
Probably.
time. I think it's about time.
You think
Like,
it's another shooter?
I kind of hope so.
Probably.
Kind of like that experience and how their approach was to it. So yeah.
Insomniac, we know is doing Wolverine. You would have to imagine they're also in production, starting production on Spider-Man 3. Like we know there's going to be at least one more, given the way that 2 ends. I'm not spoiling anything, but they
Bro, no DLC.
no DLC, bro. No DLC. You would have to imagine that like Wolverine must be pretty imminent too. There's been so many leaks of that game. I'm not going to comment on any of them. If you're curious, you can find them really easily. But like Wolverine, you think it's next year?
Yes, I do.
Mhm.
I think that there's a lot kind of riding on it too, and especially with the leaks, the major controversies, and just the kind of the heartbrokenness that people felt juxtaposed with like people just wanting to know right away. I think that Insomniac is now just treading very carefully, rightfully so. But yeah, I do think it's close.
I hope so.
I wonder if they took away the time to develop and finish and do whatever to the Spider-Man DLC just to move more resources over to Wolverine to maybe push up the release date. Because
I would agree
and then that would slot in beautifully next year.
I would be very, very happy. Again, like you would imagine that the next showcase or the next major state of play, I would imagine Wolverine is probably going to be a significant chunk of it. London Studio, I think, was closed, unfortunately. I think they got.
Yeah.
Media Molecule, they have they said that they're not ending support on Dreams. You'd have to imagine, as much as I love Media Molecule, I can't see them surviving another flop.
Yeah, dude. Yeah,
like
I agree.
Like,
you know what? For some reason, they remind me of Lionhead Studios. Like they're the Sony equivalent of Lionhead Studios. Like they try to put out these kind of interesting games with different like play styles, and I just don't think it hits right.
I think Dreams was just too heady. You know what I mean? Like I think they went too far. Like I think whatever they do next has to be. And I know they love the world of Create. I know that's their thing. It has been since Little Big Planet.
Right.
But I think they went too far in one direction with Dreams, where like everything that they did with Dreams was technically fascinating.
Sure.
I would never engage with 99% of it. Like I got it and I played through a bunch of like the user created stuff, but like I would never sit there and like make a thing. It's just not the type of player that I am. And I would hazard a guess that the amount of people that would spend time dedicated to do those things is a much, much smaller niche when compared to the people who would just play a game from them.
Yeah.
So like I hope whatever they're doing next is a more capital V, capital G video game and not another Adobe product.
Did anyone Tearaway?
I
From
loved Tearaway, bro. Tearaway was great.
Okay. I never played it, so I was just wondering because like it looks like it got really strong reviews. So
I played it on Vita. It was a lovely experience. Again, like they have a talented pedigree of developers. No, not Spider-Man. But like they need games.
Yeah.
You know, they need games. Naughty Dog, currently working on Factions, not anymore.
Nope.
We don't know what Naughty Dog's up to.
We don't know.
Obviously, lots of thoughts and feelings about a part 3 of The Last of Us. We got Last of Us Part 1 remake. We got the remastered of 2 with No Return. We don't know what they're up to. Neil Druckmann literally a couple days ago said that he started working on a new IP in 2020. And he's ready to talk about it, but he doesn't control when those things happen. So do you think what we see out of them next is the new IP, or do you think they're going to go harder on Last of Us?
It's easy to talk about what I want.
Which
I think a new IP.
Same.
Yeah.
Because of the show though, Last of Us, they have gained this like bigger audience who probably wasn't exposed to the game, and even just brought more people back in. I think that they might do a push for, another Last of Us, but I personally just, I don't know that is the move right now.
I think it would be so easy for them to just drop like a Last of Us complete edition, bundle
Sure.
part 1 and part 2 together. You know what
Sure.
I mean? Like quote unquote complete. I could totally see them like when the new season hits, dropping something like that for just ease of access for people who somehow haven't picked up both games.
Right.
But I don't know, Denny, where you're at. Do you want new IP? Do you want more Last of Us?
I would like a new IP for sure. I mean, I know they were doing something with Last of Us, like an online type game, but that got canceled last year.
Factions.
Yeah. But yeah, I'd like to see something new. I mean, the Naughty Dog has always made great games, and usually every generation they have something new ready for it. And I just feel like they've been resting on like leaning heavily on Last of Us. Don't get me wrong, I know they're great games, but with like you're entering the second half of a console life cycle, and this is kind of like my thought about every developer. When you're entering that second half of that console life cycle, like you really need software to pull in the people who still haven't bought your system yet. So a new IP could definitely do that, especially from first parties.
I want them to go in like a wildly different direction. You know what I mean? Like we had like the action movies and Uncharted. We had like this grim dark thing with The Last of Us. I just hope whatever's next isn't hyper serious, like The Last of Us. You know what I mean? Like go to space. Make a pirate game. Like go in a completely weird otherwise direction. Just don't give me something comparable to those experiences. Give it your cinematic flair, but give me something different.
Right. The cinematic flair is what they're good at. But yeah, I don't know that I want to dive too deep. The themes were just so dark and sad.
They need a happy game.
They need a happy game.
Yeah.
They need a happy game. Nix's, that's the port studio. We know they're working on Marvel Spider-Man 2 PC right now, so we know what they're working on. Polyphony, similarly, we got GT7. I can't imagine we're going to see anything new from them in a while, and whatever it will probably be more racing. I can't see them doing anything else.
Agreed.
San Diego, that's MLB The Show. There are rumors and scuttlebutt that they have a second team that's working. Like the rumor is that they're the studio that's doing the new Uncharted.
Interesting.
Whether that remains true, that's true or not. Court, we'll die on this hill. That live action trailer that we got this year or last year. There's a part of a frame where you see like a woman in tomb raiding, essentially, and it's not Lara Croft. So he's like, that has to be what Uncharted is next. I don't disagree. Kind of moving forward with the daughter.
Jake's daughter, yeah.
But again, hopefully they start talking about that soon. Like these are things that people are waiting for. So just give it to us.
Yes.
XDev is a bunch of smaller stuff. I don't even know the state of these studios, honestly.
Doesn't XDev do like third-party support?
They do. Because because there's XDev partners Sumo Digital, which did Sackboy, Lucid Games, Destruction All Stars, and Wild Shape, which did Wild. I don't know. I can't really imagine that we're gonna know too much about any of this stuff anytime soon. Santa Monica, I mean Ragnarok was 2022.
Yep.
It's been 2 years since Ragnarok.
Stop
this right now.
And it just came out on PC this year, right?
Yeah, literally a few months ago.
Yeah.
It's too early. Like, do you think we get DLC out of them or an expansion?
We already got Valhalla, didn't we?
Yeah.
True. We did get Valhalla.
We did.
Like
we did get like
roguelike.
a big free thing. So I'm not really expecting.
We'll see what comes next out of them.
Do you think, like, here's my thing, obviously not knowing how Ragnarok ends, but I'm sure it ends in some way, shape, or form.
I don't think you even know what's going on in the middle either.
Are you the way that you're playing, are you sure it ends? Are you not just going to be stuck in?
No, I'm going to be stuck in this game till I'm 90.
Maybe you finished it, but you don't know that you finished it because
did I accidentally click New Game Plus? I don't even know.
Skip too many cutscenes.
Yeah, too many. But no, like, do you think they would just do another God of War, or are they gonna? Do they need to do something different? Because like they've just been all God of War, Santa Monica, right?
Yeah, the Atreus spinoff. I think there are people that want that. There's more stories to tell there, arguably. I don't know that Kratos is
he
going to play a major role
and just mess up all the other gods now.
See, I don't want to spoil the end of Ragnarok, so I feel like this is a little bigger conversation.
Sure.
But I do think that there is more story there to tell. I just kind of think that with the amount of Ragnarok's an incredible game, don't get me wrong, but I think with the amount of stuff, like the amount of people that were saying it's just more God of War.
Yes.
I think we need a break.
Yeah.
I think we need some time before whatever the next God of War thing is. I'd be stoked if it's here we go. It's thought that the new studio is working on a new IP, but we've yet to learn anything more. I hope it's a new IP. Again, similarly to Naughty Dog.
Okay.
We've had God of War from them. We can have more God of War. Give us something else in between.
Yeah. Make us miss it.
Make us miss it. Exactly. Sucker Punch, we know Ghost of Yotei is imminent. That's next year. Team Asobi, Astrobot just dropped. We're not getting anything new out of them. But so there's a lot here on top of like third party and second party deals and stuff going on that like a showcase could start to fill in. If it happens, you'll know because we'll be screaming from the hilltops. I don't know. Do you think we get a showcase at the beginning of December? It feels like a really weird time. I know PlayStation Experience used to be in this time frame, and like the Game Awards is right after. It feels like an odd time for a showcase, in my opinion.
I say yes.
You think so?
The only reason why is, again, the date, right? Because December 3rd is the actual 30th anniversary of PlayStation.
Yeah.
Right. So they're gonna do something. What are they gonna announce? I don't know. Are they gonna announce new
somewhere that Grubb said not to get our hopes up? So,
yeah.
And I think that's kind of addressing what you're saying there, Denny, is that like, it's gonna be something.
Maybe we just get like a cool theme for our PS5. I don't know.
Or maybe even just like a tribute video that everybody can interact with or something that really has nothing to do with,
not like a purchasable thing that you can get.
No.
Correct.
It's going to be something. Maybe showcase is the wrong word, but there'll just be some media hype, let's say.
Even like a Wolverine trailer, you know what I mean? Like just something to celebrate the day. You know what I mean? Like I could totally see them doing like a thing, but how much of a thing is a different conversation. Even like if they drop like a teaser to be like, get ready, the Game Awards are around the corner, full reveal of Wolverine, then here's a little bit of a taste. Or you know what I mean? Like I could see them doing something like that as well. But we'll see. Let's hit through some questions. Chris Zazer from Chris Zazer on Bluesky. Come hang out with the Bluesky. Bluesky's starting to pop off, folks. It was broken.
Okay, I've been seeing ads.
I heard they have like 15 million users and they gain like 1 million users in like 1 week.
It's been popping off Bluesky. It's what Twitter was. Okay, it's starting to feel that way.
Okay.
Come hang out with us on Bluesky. But Chris writes in saying, thoughts on GameStop Canada giving Onyx members exclusive access to the PlayStation 30th Anniversary Collection pre-orders? Chris, it is bullshit. I am so happy that I did not wait. Australia retailers pulled this shit too, where they locked the 30th Anniversary stuff behind a fucking paywall for a membership. And of course, GameStop, as if there was any doubt, as if there was any doubt that GameStop would be handling any of this in a half decent way. To like the 15 people that are Onyx members, kudos to you, because but like Gamer Graham, friend of the show, tweeted about
Hey,
how
Graham.
like he's been an Onyx person for a while and he didn't get an opportunity to get it. Like it was, I'm sure it was so limited to like even like maybe 5 out of the 15 Onyx people got an opportunity to get one. But like, I think it sucks ass, dude. Like I'm sure no matter what you would have done, this thing would have been a mess. But like to lock it behind an Onyx membership, which like good for you. Like it's not even PlayStation fans proper that might be getting their hands on this stuff. You know what I mean?
Right.
Somebody could just be buying it because they're like, oh, I'll just resell it or whatever, right? I think it sucks. I think it sucks ass.
Interesting.
I don't know if either one of you have any other feelings about it.
I don't, but I love
think it's
how
the smartest idea GameStop has ever done.
Okay, go on.
Sorry, we lost Denny there.
Wow. No, I'm just.
There is
You
no
found the
dissent here.
line, Denny. You found the
I
line.
know. Finally, how long did it take? Like 3 months?
Your investigative work is it's paying off.
No, it is ridiculously stupid. And honestly, it's just every day I feel like I find a new reason to find another place to buy games. It sucks because GameStop is literally like the only video game store in town. So
it just
it's
sucks
like,
because like their
I'm out.
trade-ins can be good, and that's the only time I ever go to GameStop
Yeah.
anymore is if there's a trade-in special.
Yeah.
But yeah, Ed Varnell writes in with a two-parter here. So I'm gonna read it all, and then we'll kind of dissect what he's copying coming from that retro code. In Japan, the DS and 3DS didn't come with a charging AC adapter after the first iteration of each were released because Nintendo believed that anyone who owned them didn't need it since the port never changed. Do you think Sony in Japan thought a similar way to sell disc drives, meaning that since they already sold separately for the PS5 digital already, if someone owned one, the upgrade to Pro would be easy? Was it this way? Was this the way to move back stock or move units and make money for the item? And do you think the PS6 could do the same thing? So let's start with the first question. Do you think they were not anticipating the demand for the disc drive because it seems like it exploded since the PS5 Pro was announced?
That's an interesting question. And that I think rides on whether or not you trust these big companies and trust their marketing. So stuff being sold out looks good. And
yeah,
there has to be some truth in the ether that kind of points towards optics, boosting those sales. But if you are also loyal to the company and you're big fans of what they're doing, then you can, I think, convince yourself that it's because they care about the experience, and they also kind of not anticipate how much they need. But I'm less inclined to believe that.
Danny, what do you think?
No, I agree. I think it's part of the experience, but I think it's also just Sony trying to be Sony. I don't know what the right word is. I don't want to give them credit for trying to be efficient by just pumping out one SKU of a console instead of having to manage multiple SKUs, multiple production lines, and just having two, like, all the lines focus on one unit.
Sure.
But yeah, I think it's about adoption rate, right? So I think a lot of people probably went out and bought a digital console because it was probably the lesser preferred, therefore more available, also more cheaper. Where those who wanted, like me, I held out till I could find a disc drive edition, right? So I can understand the way they did it. Do I think it's cool? No. But at least it could have been worse, because I remember there were rumors that like these disc drives that are modular would be locked to the console that you first booted them up with.
Oh,
Damn.
Lord.
That was all. I had to look that up right now, because I remember that was a rumor going around that like if you attach it to your PS5 Slim and then you go and like you boot it up, it's gonna digital signature or whatever, like attached to that, and it's gonna have a digital signature, and then you'd have to go and buy another disc drive if you went and got another PS5 digital.
I've seen people even talking about, like, I think I saw it on Reddit, that people are like buying the like disc drive edition of the consoles, taking the disc drive out and then reselling it as a digital console, so that they can hook it up to to the thing.
Yep.
I think this is I think Rice, you kind of nailed it. Because I think a large part of this is sticker shock. I feel like if they included it, regardless of how much it costs, especially because they've already drawn the line in the sand for the PS5 disc and digital to be like, it is at least this much more. If they put out a PS5 Pro that was over $1,000 Canadian, I feel like the closer to and how far surpassing they hit that number, it would be a harder pill to swallow. $959 is a lot of money, don't get me wrong, but 1,000 something feels like a lot worse.
Yep.
It's an extra digit.
So I feel like part of it was they kept it out so that they could sell it. And I think part of it too, I would be surprised if there wasn't a decent markup on those things. I don't know how much a disk drive costs to make. I don't think it's 100 Canadian dollars. So I feel like part of it is that as well, is that this is just another thing that they can sell. It's proven to have worked. So why not continue to do so? And his final question, do you think PS6 could do the same thing? Do you think a PS6 is going to have, like similar to the PS5, a disc and a digital edition, or do you think it's just going to be a digital edition with an add-on disc if you want it?
It would make more sense just to do the digital out the gate with an add-on.
You think so?
Available. Yeah, because again, it's the same thing, right? Like when a new console comes out, companies take a loss on it usually, or until they're finding a way to make the process more efficient, right? This is just one less thing for them to worry about when it comes to costs and be able to push out more consoles. And you know what? We're already in an age where a lot of people are already buying digital content. Would everybody get a disc? Probably not, right? Or
but they know that people will. There are people out there that will get the disc, so they just know they're going to sell that.
They're going to sell that now, yeah.
See, until you started talking, I felt differently, and I don't think you're wrong, especially because like what the metrics are, like the amount of people who buy digital versus physical, it's like very, very heavily sided on digital nowadays compared to physical media. So it's like maybe you're right. Maybe they have one SKU. This is what the PS6 is. If you want the disc drive, there you go. It exists. It's there. You can't use your PS5 disc drive, God forbid.
That would be amazing.
That would be cool if you could, though. I would actually celebrate that if that was the kind of way that they were going. But maybe you're right. Maybe it's just going to be, here's the PS6.
Yeah. And maybe they're testing how that model would, sell with this situation right now.
Softening the landing.
Yeah.
Right. If there's precedent for it, why not?
Sure.
That brings us to the end of the show, folks. Thank you so much for sticking around for this little bit of a longer episode. Rice, my dude, where can people see and hear you on this worldwide webs?
Well, you can always find me on my Linktree. I am on socials lately. Haven't actually been able to stream in the past couple weeks, but we'll be back up and running definitely by December in that regard. But follow me at Linktree/RICEBOYYYTV. Let's chat.
Go check Rice out in all the places. Denny, my dude, where can people find you?
Yeah, you guys can find me on Twitch and YouTube and Instagram all the time. Same thing, Linktree/Dinerukin Gaming.
And you can find me over on @Matt_SilverSoul. You can find me on Bluesky. Come hang out with us on Bluesky at Matt SilverSoul. It is the new cool place to be. And you can find my writing here on Console Creatures and on butwhythough.net, folks. That brings us to the end of the episode. Thank you so much for hanging with us. Be safe, be well, and we'll see you next week. Peace.
Later.
Bye.